Thank you, Michelle. At this time, it is my honor to welcome to the podium a member of the Gateway Class of 2026, Amy Carter. Amy's life has been defined by service, resilience, and a deep commitment to supporting others. After 15 years as a foster parent and adopting 5 of her 6 children through foster care, she felt called to continue serving families in a broader way. Amy became a foster family mentor through the University of Kentucky College of Social Work and has served in leadership roles supporting foster and adoptive families across Kentucky. In 2016, she co-founded the Foster Adoptive Parent Association of Northern Kentucky to help ensure families feel supported and never alone in their journey. In 2024, with her children all in school full-time, Amy returned to the workforce and chose to pursue a long-held personal goal by enrolling in Gateway's Human and Social Services program to complete her degree. Her dedication has earned her numerous honors, including the 2024 Kentucky Governor's Ambassador Award for Community Service and Volunteerism, the 2025 Link NKY Reader's Choice Award for Person Who Makes a Difference, recognition as a hometown hero by Independence Neighbors magazine, the 2025 Horizon Community Foundation of Northern Kentucky Volunteer of the Year Award, and the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce Women's Initiative Outstanding Women of Northern Kentucky Nancy Janes Booth Scholarship. She is also a member, if that's not enough, she's also a member of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society and Gateway's Dean's List. Amy plans to continue her education beyond Gateway and is exploring the path that will allow her to make the greatest difference. She currently works for the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services, where she continues advocating for children and families through both professional and lived experience. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Carter.
Okay, I'm very nervous. But first and foremost, welcome and congratulations to the class of 2026. If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that no one path brought us all here today. This degree for me has been over 30 years in the making. Nothing about my life has ever been traditional. I spent most of it figuring things out as I went, building a path as I walked it, and sometimes just trying to keep up. I actually had my first shot at college in the 90s at NKU, and I blew it. At the time, I was convinced higher education just wasn't for me, and I let that chapter go. I got married at 23, and while my husband worked hard to provide for us, I bounced between jobs, trying to help however I could. When it came time to build our family, that didn't follow a traditional path either. After years of struggle, we became foster parents, hoping to help children and maybe one day adopt if a child needed it. What I didn't realize at the time was just how long and lonely that road could be. There wasn't much of a roadmap and not nearly enough support. So I did what a lot of us do when something's missing. I built it. I became a mentor, got involved in support groups, and eventually created a nonprofit to help support foster and adoptive families. That work put me in rooms I never imagined being in, and if I'm being honest, a lot of the time I felt like I didn't belong there. Like I was the least educated person in the room, and that feeling always stuck with me. Eventually our family grew, and before we finalized our first adoption, I gave birth to a surprise miracle baby. But that didn't stop my calling to help Kentucky kids, and we continued fostering. We eventually adopted 5 children through foster care. Through that journey, my lived experience led me to a position with the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services. I love the work and the opportunity to support others through what I've learned along the way. But I also knew I wanted that educational background to match the real-world knowledge I had gained through my experience. For a long time, going back to school felt impossible. Financially, logistically, with a house full of kids, it just didn't seem realistic. Then in May of 2024, one of my best friends, Anna, decided she was going back to school. And something about that moment made me stop and think that maybe I could too. She was going to NKU, but when I looked into it, I felt overwhelmed, and I had already failed there once, and I just didn't have the confidence to try again. That's when I found Gateway. The moment I saw the Human and Social Services program, something clicked, and I instantly applied without hesitation, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Now, don't get me wrong, I was terrified. A lot has changed in education over 30 years, and there were definitely moments, a lot of moments, when I was overwhelmed, confused, and crying over formatting and stats. But what made the difference was this: I was never alone here. There was always someone willing to help me, to explain, to walk me through it. Faculty who showed up over and over again. People who believed in me even when I wasn't so sure about myself. And I have to take a moment to say thank you to Professor Ramler, who talked me through more please help emails than I can count, and who believed in me more than I believed in myself most days. I truly didn't think I would make it through the final semester and 120 clinical hours. I was convinced that that would be the barrier that stopped me, but she made sure it wasn't. She worked with me, supported me, and helped me find a way. And that's what I've learned here. There is no barrier too big when you have the right support behind you. Over the past 2 years, I worked full-time, raised 6 kids, and carried a full course load on top of all the other life craziness. And it wasn't easy. There were a lot of late nights, a lot of stress, a lot of moments where I wanted to quit. But I didn't, and neither did you. And at 50 years old, I'm old, I stand here today as a first-generation college graduate. Gateway programs like TRIO, along with 2 scholarships, helped remove barriers that once made furthering my education feel impossible. And that's the thing. Every single one of us sitting here today has a story. Different paths, different struggles, different moments we almost gave up. But we didn't. We kept going, we showed up, we figured it out. And you can do whatever comes next. Before I close, I want to say thank you to my husband, who has done everything he can to support me through this. And thank you to my kids, who didn't always get to have enough mama time because I had to finish homework. To everyone who supported me along the way, thank you. I would not be standing here without you. And there's one thing I've always told my kids and myself, is that we can do hard things. And standing here in front of all of you is one of the hardest, scariest things I've ever done. But I'm doing it because I can do hard things. And I'm doing it to show my 6 children that we can do hard things and that it's never too late to follow your dreams. So congratulations, class of 2026. We can do hard things. We did it.